What's going on, y'all? Hello. Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to have you guys here today. It's been a long time since you guys been live. I'm ready to rock and roll today. Are you ready to rock and roll today? Listen, guys, I got something brand new for you today. Now, if you've been around for a while, you might have seen me talking a lot about food and nutrition. And today I'm super stoked and excited because there's a new tool that's been unleashed to the world through MyFitnessPal. Mainly, this is the newest one, but I've seen it on other platforms, on other programs that are out there. I think Fujicate is one, and I think there's another one called Mealime or something like that. There's several of them. But MyFitnessPal just recently dropped this amazing feature. It's a premium feature on their app that uses meal planning, recipe planning, to help you to not only reach your goals, track your foods, but also to do it in a way that's yummy and to do it in a way that mirrors your regular life. And I tell you what, your girl is so innovative that MyFitnessPal actually dropped this tool after your girl has already been implemented this with her clients on our exclusive coaching app. So what I want to do today, for those of you who are interested in approaching this way of eating, listen, let's talk about something real here. Dieting is no joke. Getting your body together is no joke. And the thing is that so many people fail because their nutrition sucks. The nutrition part for you is just completely off. And here's the thing, guys, I say this all the time. You cannot outrun a bad diet. There's no way. You can do all the cardio you want. You can do all the steps you want. You can show up to the gym 2,000 times a week. But guess what? If the nutrition isn't where it needs to be, you ain't gonna see nothing happening. And one of the things that I know about all of you in my audience, because many of you are like my clients, is that you like food. You like me. I like food too, okay? And ain't nobody want to eat like a rabbit. Ain't nobody want to eat cardboard tasting food and think you're gonna lose weight and sustain that. So that's what I want to get into today. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and get in here in this chat. What's going on, y'all? I see y'all here in the chat. Make sure you go ahead and say hello, okay? And like this stream, baby. Make sure you go ahead and like. And if this is your first time being up in here, I want to welcome you. Welcome you to the channel. This is Roxy Beckles. Now, I am broadcasting live. This is live and in full effect, okay? This is your girl in the flesh here, okay? This is flesh and bone Roxy here, okay? This is not pre-recorded. But I'm broadcasting live today on two of my channels. We are live on Redefining Bodybuilding, and we are live on Theology of Fitness, okay? So if you have questions throughout, make sure that you go ahead and ask them. Stay on topic. Today we're talking about nutrition. I plan on coming live at least maybe once a week or so. So we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff from like hormones and training and bodybuilding and Theology of Fitness stuff. We're going to do a lot of stuff on here going forward. So I'm really excited. Now, this is a master class. So, you know, if it's a master class, your girl got some master slides. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this party started. So I want to talk about exactly what we're going to be covering in today's master class. I want to keep you on like just a clear path. All right. And just really give you some tips that you can walk away with right now. So we're going to talk about how to navigate meal planning, whether you are using the MyFitnessPal approach with the new meal planner, and it's going to look exactly like the one I'm going to demo today, which is our meal planner that I have for our clients in RoxStar Fitness in our exclusive coaching app. But this can also be applied for those of you who might like to collect recipes. Maybe you have cookbooks, maybe you have things that help you to create meals and how to get things together. I want to show you how to have variety, how to eat the foods you love. Woo, Lord, I can't even think. How to eat the foods that you love and really approach meal planning in a smarter way. And this even works, even if you're someone who uses like that skeleton meal plan approach where you might have, I'll show you what that looks like in a minute, where it's just like a basic meal plan. Maybe it says like 40 grams of oats in the morning. It might say 2 eggs. It might say a serving of fruit or whatever. How can you organize your food and your meal plan in a way that helps you to stick to it? We're also going to take a look at prepping like a restaurant, efficient, consistent, and stress-free. This is something that I just adopted and I love. It keeps everything organized, keeps your vegetables and everything fresh, and helps you to really stay on track and be able to grab and go. So many of us do not have time to spend in the kitchen cooking and all this stuff. So we're going to tackle what that might look like in this masterclass. We're going to be using a recipe builder to build out a plan for yourself and your family. How do you do that? Because the truth of the matter is, look, y'all got kids to feed, you got spouses, you got significant others. It's not just you sometimes on this diet, and you have to think about other people. So I want to get into how do you prep things in a way that helps you to make it yummy so everyone will eat it. We're going to talk about tracking servings and how to do that right, how to use what tools you're going to need and stuff like that to stay on track, and just how to be flexible with everything, how to be flexible, how to add variety. So, this is going to be a jam packed conversation today. And as I said, as we go along, if you have questions, I want you to go ahead and get in there and ask them because you are here to learn, honey. Our platform here at Redefining Bodybuilding is to help you to redefine what the heck is bodybuilding and what does it mean. It's not just going into the gym, lifting max weights and putting on a bunch of muscle and definitely doesn't mean popping up them steroids. We ain't about that over here. Okay. It's about how do you do this training and nutrition thing in a way that's going to get you results, right? How are you going to do this in a way that's healthy? And that's what I'm super passionate about. So let's get into just the first portion of our conversation today with our first lesson here. So I want to show you what the heck I mean in action. I talk about this recipe-based approach. What am I talking about? Because so many of you haven't seen that. Now, I want y'all to go ahead. If you don't have MyFitnessPal, I want you to go ahead and take a look at what some of the newest updates are. On the left, you'll see two recipes that are from my app, our coaching app that we use for our clients, for our rock stars that are here watching today. You guys know I'm doing this especially for you, so I hope you take a lot out of this today. And on the right, you see something that's a very similar setup to what we have in our app, but this is through MyFitnessPal. So they have taken on this way where before, when you would use MyFitnessPal, you would simply just put your meals in and then you would just put in the foods that you eat individually and it tells you exactly what you're eating throughout the day. Now, one of the things my clients always used to ask me is like, Roxy, this is great, but how do I track a recipe? I have a recipe that I want to make. How do I make that work in my macros? And it was always such a complicated thing when it came to tracking. So it made it hard for our clients who, especially those who love macros and calories, to stay on track with their goals. Now, they do have a recipe calculator where you have to enter stuff, and that's great and all. But even with that, I like to teach that you have to create systems when it comes to your eating, and things need to be easy. Things need to be quick. Things need to be so you guys can grab and go because you're busy running your household, raising the kids, and doing all these things. And one of the things that I love about this approach that I have found with our clients is that it gives them the ability to have variety. It gives them the ability to be able to step up and add flavor to their foods. They're not eating the same darn thing every single day if they don't want to, and they're learning how to enjoy food along the way. Guys, this is the way of the future of eating, of dieting, when you want real results, because this mirrors exactly what you do in the real world. The reason why people continue to fail time and again when it comes to dieting is because you're trying to learn tricks and tips and all these things that don't mirror anything that you do in regular life. Now, this is a demo on our side because we can't show you the proprietary, stuff for MyFitnessPal. I don't have access to that because it's a premium feature. But it looks exactly kind of almost like this, where we have options for folks to be able to choose what they want on their meal plan, how many servings. A lot of this for my clients, I'm actually assigning to them, and then they get to pick and choose and drag and drop what days it appears on their plan. Again, there are other food services and apps that do this same exact thing as well. We have a demo over here that shows you a little bit more on how we have the clients drag and drop things. So you can literally set up your meal plan the way that you want it to be. And the reason why I love this approach, now I was so opposed to this. I was like, I don't think this is a good idea. I was talking to the developers about this. I just hated it because I was so used to just doing the skeleton plan. Tell someone, hey, you're going to have this amount of food. You're going to have a cup of this. You're going to have measure this. But the thing is that what I found is my clients were adding stuff to the darn meal plan. If I tell you to have 4 ounces of chicken, a cup of rice, a cup of vegetables, how are you going to make that chicken? You're going to add salt, pepper. You're going to add, some of y'all going to add some butter. Some of y'all going to add some oil. Some of y'all going to do this. You're going to make sure you're already cooking this way. So I found it to be so much easier when we factor everything in. everything that you would put into the meal. And now we have a way of putting together things that you actually like to eat and allowing the clients at this level to drag and drop things that allows them to add the variety that they want for their own programs. And yes, MyFitnessPal, if you have access to that app, they do this as well. So this is a really important and oops, excuse me, I just lost you guys. There we go. This is just a very important and what I thought just a really useful way of approaching meal planning that you all should definitely get hip to. So I want to go ahead on for a moment and just I showed you a little demo of that. I want to get into though, how do you make this work for you? Because at the end of the day, I want the rest of this conversation, now that I showed you that, to be about food prep, meal prep, the practical tips that nobody's really showing you. So now you have to follow a meal plan. So now how do you make that happen? How do you make it work? Here's what you got to do. No matter how you choose to eat, whether you're doing a skeleton plan, whether you're doing one of these kind of recipe based plans, I want you to approach your meal prep with a new mindset. And I want you to approach it by way of thinking like a restaurant. Now, the way that restaurants prepare food, and you got to think, a restaurant has a menu, and they have the same menu that they follow day in, day out, with the exception of specials, right? People come in, they're going to order, X amount of people are going to order whatever dish they have. And restaurants don't have the time to waste money. They don't have the time to waste food either. So you've got to think about that in the same way. And we're going to talk about how to shop properly as well for your groceries to make sure you have no food waste. But restaurants don't start from scratch for every order. Neither should you. This is about mindset. So restaurant kitchens prepare ahead. Their meats are already measured out, chopped up, whatever, marinated and ready to go. Veggies are chopped up and stored. Any sauces that they might have or use, that's already concocted and it's set aside, ready to go. You need to bring that same kind of energy into your kitchen. You need to think of yourself as the chef. Your body is the guest. All right. And the efficiency that you're creating is key to staying on plan. You are busy. Let's go ahead and just put that out there. All of you who are watching my channel, I know you have a career, you've got businesses you're running, you got households you're running, you got kids, you got spouses, you've got responsibilities. And that's not even the hobbies or the other things you might be involved in, ministries, who knows, whatever it is that you do, there's so little time. So why spend time doing the things that will frustrate you when it comes to your diet? Because most of you, the biggest excuse as to why you can't eat right is you don't have the time. I hear it all the time. I'm going to keep saying the word time here. I hear it all the time. I don't have time to cook, Roxy. I don't have time to eat healthy. It's expensive. All of these excuses. But if you learn how to approach things in a more systemic way, it's going to change the game for you. So when you go grocery shopping, and I'm going to show you a clip of this in a minute, how I prep this in my own kitchen, because listen, your girl can't be out here telling you what to do, and I'm not doing it. I am client zero, okay? I'm patient zero. I'm going to show you in a moment how I do this with meats. I'm going to show you how you can best, store your vegetables, how to best pick out your fruits and stuff like that, because they all go bad, right? This method is going to change. So the first step we got to do is think like a restaurant and start to pre-prep your foods ahead of time. Big game changer. Now, the next thing, like I said, chopping and storing your veggies in advance. Carrots, cucumbers. Now, the thing I'll say about the cucumbers is that I love Persian cucumbers. If they're small, you can chop them up, put them right into a salad, whatever the measurement is in the salad that you have, right? But if you take, like, let's say two or three of them, chop them up ahead of time. You don't want to store cucumbers too much for too long because the air can dry them out and make them kind of nasty. So those chop off enough to put in a little container so you can grab and go and throw them into a salad super easily when you're making your meals for the next day. So cool. And I'm going to show you how to actually make mason jar salads that I love. Convenience, healthy, grab and go. Very important. Bell peppers, onions. I got hip to stop buying them like whole onions. I started buying diced onions, already pre-diced onions. My favorite brand is at Trader Joe's. They're super affordable. You buy a bag of those babies. They're already chopped, already done. Boom, convenience, guys. Broccoli, whatever is on your plan, have it cleaned, cut, and stored in airtight containers or mason jars in the fridge. Very amazing tip for making meal prep easy. This saves time and makes meal building much easier during the week, and it allows you to rotate your stuff as well in a more systemic way. Okay, we need to create systems of dieting and eating for you guys to be just to be on point with this stuff. To be honest with you, now this. Pay close attention to this. Cook your proteins in bulk, and not just cook them in bulk. Store them in bulk. Now, here's what I want you to do. You're going to grill or bake up a batch of chicken, turkey, fish for the week, whatever it is on your plan. I want you to prep and cook multiple servings for your recipe meals for the week ahead of time. You know, I have to sometimes humble myself. I have to humble myself because I've been doing this for so long. There are certain things that, for me as a bodybuilder, y'all see my stature. My girls back there, okay? The girls are out, okay? Got the girls out there today, okay? That's my girls, okay? It's my awards I done won, okay? To show you, and I got my two swords out, you see? Because your girl is about that business. I was about that life. I say was because, child, I've been falling off the wagon, y'all, okay? But listen, I got a vlog coming out. I'm back on it. I'm telling you, I'm doing all the stuff too. You're going to see in a minute, okay? I'm doing it too. But I forget that it's not just me. I forget that the things that I learned as a bodybuilder are not like, it's just not things that people often think about as just how you just live life in general. You need to be cooking food ahead of time. It saves you so much time, so much work to just make sure that if you're going to eat so and so serving or recipe X amount of times a week, cook it ahead. Don't wait for the day of, don't wait for the day before. You're going to pick a day and we're going to go ahead and we're going to make sure that you stick to those days. We'll talk about how to do that a little bit later and make those your cooking days. Create systems that are repeatable so that way it becomes a habit and it becomes a way of life. And when you structure things as a way of life and a habit, that is when you start not only getting results, you're going to keep it, because whatever you do to have the weight loss, whatever you do to gain muscle, whatever you do to change your body, you need to do that to keep it. That is why diets fail, because everyone's teaching you how to starve yourself. Everyone's teaching you how to eat like a rabbit. Everybody's telling you you can't have this, that, and the third. And now you're in a place where you got to your goal and you have no idea how to stay there. This is how you stay there. This is how you do it. And that is no joke at all, guys. This is something that I have lived by, that I have taught clients over the last. Now I've been in the fitness industry as a personal trainer since 97. I really got into the science of nutrition and teaching others sports nutrition and all that stuff since about 2012. So we're going on 13 years now. So the stuff I'm telling you is stuff that has been proven time and time again. And I promise you, if you just go ahead and do just one of these things I'm asking you to do, honey, you're going to see some really amazing changes. So portion out your plan and store by weight. So that way you're always ready to grab and go again with the proteins as well. So again, you're creating that system and that way of working that's just going to help you to be more successful. Now, this one I love. Use your freezer wisely. And I didn't put this on here, but I'm going to throw this in here too. We're going to talk about the importance of a vacuum sealer, one of my favorite kitchen tools. But let's talk about that freezer first. So use your kitchen freezer wisely. If you can't use everything within 3 days, guys, 3 days, freeze extra portions. Okay. And that means your fruits, your veggies, and everything, not just your meats. And guess what? You can even freeze extra meals. That's a game changer we'll talk about in a moment. So I want you to pre-measure your pre-measure cooked proteins and carbs into individual bags or containers so you can always have backup meals. So this is what I'm talking about right here. So you know those times when you're just so busy and you don't have time to meal prep, or things just, it's just crazy, right? A trick that you can do is use your freezer. First of all, I talked about the fruits and veggies and stuff like that. Sometimes you may not, depending on your meal plan, be able to eat everything that you've purchased. Let's say you eat, like, I've been running into this with berries a lot. Like, I buy a big old thing of strawberries because I can never find a small container. They just got these big giant containers of strawberries, and I might only have maybe 3 or 4 strawberries in, let's say, a shake or something like that, or over my oats or whatever. Right now I got this vat of strawberries sitting in the refrigerator going bad. Put those babies, clean them, cut off the plant part, right? You can slice them in half, or you can leave them whole, whatever you want. Put them on like a sheet of, like, a cookie sheet individually. Put them in the freezer for a few hours until they're rock hard, and then transfer that to a freezer bag, a freezer Ziploc bag. You can do that with berries. You can do that with bananas. You can do it with apples. You can do it with avocados. That trick, honey, saves me so much. Honey, I'll buy a bunch of avocados right on sale. You buy your avocados. If you're really snazzy about it, you can go ahead, pit them. You can mash them up or dice them. Put them on. If you mash them, what I do is I mash them. I scoop out whatever servings on my meal plan. So if I have 100 grams or 50 grams or whatever, I'll scoop it out, put it on a parchment paper on the cookie sheet, and let them individually freeze like that. And then you can just put them into, like, little Ziploc bags, or the freezer bags. Okay. Another method I have is I will take them fresh, chop them up, put them in the what is it called? Ooh, I just forgot the name of it. The vacuum sealer bags. Okay, put them in the vacuum sealer, throw them in the freezer. They will last. Okay, this is how you prep things in a way that you will never waste food. Now, let's go back to having to grab and go. Let's say proteins. Cook yourself up a batch of chicken, right? Go ahead and make sure that you get it all fresh, season up the way that you like it, and then put them into vacuum sealed bags. You go ahead, buy you a vacuum sealer. Those things are like, I don't know, $30-$40 on Amazon or whatever. You get the bags, boop, seal it up. Now, when you're running late, when you don't have time to cook, make sure, though, when you do vacuum seal them, measure out the amount. So you might have 85 grams of chicken, you might have, 6 ounces of whatever. It could be any meat. Vacuum seal that baby, label it. So when you're running around and you don't have time to eat, boom, 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 boom. You could do the same thing with rice. Okay. These are the things that you can do. These are the tricks of the trade. Thinking like a restaurant, thinking like a champion, and making sure you're getting your nutrition in, because you cannot what? Outrun a bad diet. We don't want to do that. Oh, baby. I hope that you guys are feeling me today. If you are, go ahead and smash that like button, and make sure that you get your comments in here, okay? Because I want to see what you got to say. If you got any questions or anything like that, I'm here to go ahead and answer them for you today. All right, let's go ahead and push on, because, honey, I got so much more to share with you. All right. So we talked about this here, batch cooking grains and carbs and all. Your rice, your quinoa, potatoes for many of you. You can cook a few servings and just store them in your measured portions. Now, getting meal containers are great. You should get a bunch of those, and just whatever recipe you're making, go ahead and serve yourself in individual containers and put them in the fridge, stack them up. And then all you have to do is grab and go. That's the way that I do it. That's the way that I love. All of this stuff, again, guys, is all about making it easier for you. I have a trick when it comes to the oatmeal, and I think I do have a video where I show you that a little bit later. I don't know if I put it on here or not, but one of the things I do love when I do oatmeal is I started to use mason jars for everything. You can find some good mason jars. You can buy them on Amazon or go to Target, whatever. They also have them at the 99-cent store. I've seen them at Dollar Tree and stuff. And that's where I've bought them. So you get yourself some mason jars. Like, I get the little ones. You fill up your mason jar with your oats, dried oats, and then you boil some water. This is the night before I do this. Boil some water up, put some water right there in the mason jar, let the oats expand just like that in the jar. You can add in your cinnamon. I like to use agave syrup in mine. That's all factored into the meal plan. A little bit of vanilla because I got to have a little vanilla taste to it, some vanilla extract, pure vanilla. Okay, I don't do the imitation stuff. We go all the way here. Okay, you throw that in there and then you seal it up. Throw that in the fridge. Wake up in the morning. All you got to do, if you like to add a little almond milk or whatever it is you like to add to it to loosen it up, boom, throw it in the microwave, grab and go. My meal prep for breakfast doesn't even take 2 minutes that it takes for it to warm that up in the microwave or whatever. Quick planning, guys. Quick planning. Stay on your feet, okay? You do this kind of thing again, you're going to really start seeing your body respond and really getting to your goals even more, because the diet really is the part that gets a lot of y'all tripped up. Now, I done told you I was going to show you my way of doing things, because your girl, like I said, listen, your girl is not just playing games here. I am not only the club president, but I'm also a client. So let me show you just a little video, a couple videos I put out here about, we're going to first talk about the prep for the protein. So I want to show you how do I do my chicken, which can translate into any other meal or any other meat as well. And we measure it in our recipes, and I believe MyFitnessPal in their planner and other planners too. Of course, they're recipe based, so they're going to have you measure your foods mostly in the raw state. Now, I want to, before I show you the process that I do, let me answer that question right now. Should you be measuring your food raw, or should you be measuring it cooked? And the answer is actually uncooked is better. Here's why. When you have food, particularly when we talk about meats and stuff like that, when you have it in the uncooked state, it's a lot easier to have consistency, because the measures that they use to measure foods that's already cooked, when you're looking at like professional labels and labels of foods that you buy in the store, they have a whole like laboratory and scientific tools and all this other stuff to make sure that it's accurate down to the letter. When you cook food, particularly when we talk about meats and stuff like that here, it loses its water content. So it's a lot better for you to actually measure your meats in the uncooked state. And then once you cook it, then you can go ahead and, you don't even have to measure it again. You just separate it out, put it on your plate, and you're ready to go. Little trick there. So keep that in mind when you're watching this demo that I'm going to show you right now of how you can go ahead and separate out your meats in portions that make it grab and go, especially for those of you who like to cook things a little bit more fresh. So let's go ahead and get into that video.
So I want to just show you how I batch cook chicken, or any protein for that matter, for the week, where you have recipe blocks that have the same meal. So I have a grilled chicken meal that I'm going to be having several times during the week. And some of them are different measurements, but for the most part, I love to freeze my chicken ahead of time in different quantities and keep them and, be able to thaw them out. I also buy bags of regular frozen chicken. Now, what I did, as you can see, this is Monday's bag. This is for 2 meals on Monday, where I have some chicken breast. Then on Tuesday, I only have 1 meal with chicken breast, and the same for Wednesday, 1 meal with chicken breast. So now that they're all separated out, all I have to do is basically season all this up the way that I want to. I believe that they're all very similarly seasoned, but if I wanted to do something a little different with different spices, of course, I can choose what day I want what to taste like what. So I'll just season this up. And then I'm planning on just actually doing them all the same. So I'm going to put them all in one pot to cook it up in one batch. And then I just evenly distribute it between 4 meals. So this is 2 meals on Monday, 1 meal on Tuesday, 1 on Wednesday. And once they're cooked, so you have to measure it in the raw state. But once it's cooked up, you can just evenly distribute it for as many meals as you want without having to measure it again, because all of your ingredients, your spices and everything are already factored in. This is a really great and easy way to do your meal prep when you know that you have similar proteins, or even with vegetables and stuff like that during the week. Measure them in their raw state, cook them up, and then you can go ahead and just evenly distribute them based on how many servings you need per week. Now, sometimes for ease, I do purchase these chicken tenderloin breasts that are already cut. And basically what you would have to do is just go ahead and take out a couple of pieces and total it up so that way you have the amount that's on your meal plan for the servings that you want to cook. So this is an example of how that would work for this. So let's say I have a meal that's going to be about 150 grams of chicken breast on the recipe. And when it's frozen like this, the best way to do it, it's harder to do, I find, to do it with one serving, but I can do like several servings. So let's say I'm having the chicken salad or something that has 150 grams of chicken breast. I'll go ahead and total out as near as I can to like 300. So this is sitting about 298. It's 2 grams less. It's really not that big of a deal if it's like that close, or even if it was like 305 or 302 or something, not a big deal. So this is enough for 2 servings of the 150 grams of chicken breast that would be needing to cook for a meal for the week. So I can thaw this out, season it up, cook it as directed, and just divide it into 2 servings and have that for something during the week. This is a great way if you have like a chicken salad or something like that on your meal plan, or if the recipe calls for 150 grams of chicken and you want to make 2 servings, maybe one for you and one for someone else. This is how you can easily do that with already cut chicken breast. Now, another example of this would be the tilapia that I purchased. So I got this tilapia, which is just about, over half a pound or so. And when I did the calculations for this on the meal plan, I have the tilapia with broccoli. I think there's like a garden salad. So for the lunch meal that I have, and it has about 165 grams of tilapia. When you do the conversions to that, I purchased this specifically because on the shopping list, it told me how much I needed. And this is literally 2 servings. So this, in general, it's just a little bit above 2 servings, not even that much over. It's pretty much to the letter. So when I purchased this with the idea that this is exactly what I need from the meal plan. So this is 2 servings of this. It's like two tilapia fillets in there. So I can literally just cook both of these and have one day, one the other, and boom, very easy to go ahead and prep for your meals.
So yeah, so guys, that is just a little bit of a sneak peek of just again what I was talking about when it comes to selecting things and measuring it raw. Okay. And that's how we generally do meal prep when it comes to how I do the recipe with clients, and also how it's done on MyFitnessPal and all those other apps that you're seeing this meal planner planning feature. Now, I do have one that I want to show you where I prepare, like how do you use this to like prepare foods already, like once you have your stuff seasoned. Let's say you're someone who likes stuff fresh, because not everyone likes to eat leftovers. Like you make something on Monday and you're eating the same thing by Wednesday or so, or Thursday or whatever. Some of y'all want it fresh. Sometimes I want a little fresh too. No problem. Let me show you how I do that in this video right over here.
I want to show you what I'm doing as I prep for my meals for Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm having the garlic cilantro lime chicken, and this is for 2 servings. So this is about 300 grams of chicken breast, and it's already seasoned as per the recipe. And I'm putting it into a container. I'm going to let it marinate between tonight, and then on Tuesday I'll cook it up, which will be for Tuesday and Wednesday dinner. So this is how you can kind of prep things ahead of time to make sure that you can still have food that's ready to go, that's prepped, that you can cook fresh, that won't take very long for you to cook. I can put this in the air fryer or on the grill, which is what I'll probably do, or even broil it or pan fry it, whatever makes it easy for you. So from here, I can very easily store it right in the refrigerator. And actually, for my Wednesday lunch, I'm having the lemon dill chicken with the lemon dill chicken salad with the avocado and asparagus. So what I did was I just portioned this out. So this is not seasoned yet. I'll be having this on Tuesday for lunch, or maybe I think Wednesday or so for lunch. So I'll season this up Wednesday for lunch. I'll season this up tomorrow, Monday. And that's when I will probably go ahead and cook it then have that ready to go for later on this week. So like this is just easy ways to kind of systemize everything and just kind of have things ahead of time ready to go, paired out, separated out. So all you have to do is cook, grab, and go.
So once again, it's super easy. And I often will season things like that and then I'll just put it in the freezer for if I know I'm going to cook it later on in a week. I'm always trying to find ways to A, make my food yummy because I love it, and B, to just really like do things that make it easier for me because like you guys, I don't have time to be sitting around and trying to fuss with food. Okay. I don't have time to be sitting around here fussing around with recipes. But I want to take a quick break for a moment because we're gonna go back into this conversation. And during the second portion, I want to go ahead. I want to show you how to store things in mason jars. What does it actually look like? That whole detail. And then I also have one other thing I want to talk about tonight. And I forgot what it is because it just blew over my head, my stars. Oh, I want to show y'all something I created called AI Coach Roxy, just to show off some new things we got that I be playing around with just because my clients are on here and I know you guys are going to love this. But before we do that, I do want to tell you about a video that I just dropped just the other day here on the channel that I want you to make sure that you catch up with after this broadcast here today, okay? And that is no more starvation diets, y'all. Listen, that conversation and this one go hand in hand, okay? If you go to my profile somewhere here on YouTube, look in the videos, you'll see this picture right here. And I'm breaking down exactly just this whole idea of hunger and why hunger is actually a good sign when you're dieting, how you want to be hungry when you're dieting, but you do not want to be eating your hand off. And in order for you to have that balance between being hungry, eating what you love, and not going overboard and all that stuff, you got to have a game plan. Listen, your girl is all about the game plan. So make sure that you guys go ahead and you check out that video next, okay? Or sometime over this weekend or whatever, honey. Okay, listen, I'm putting this stuff out here for you guys to be on the winning team. And let me tell you this right now, for those of you who are not on my email list, what are you waiting for, baby? It is free, okay? Scan that QR code you see right here on your screen. Scan that QR code or click the link down below. We'll go ahead and put it in there for you to make sure that you get on my free email list. I send all kinds of tips and stuff like that I don't put out here on YouTube. That gets sent right on my email list, blog posts and everything. So make sure y'all get on it. And if you are watching this right now and you're like, I've been thinking about working with Roxy for a while now. How do I work with you, Roxy, honey? You got to set up your Power Hour call, okay? That's my New York right there, my Power Hour call, okay? You got to go ahead and submit that. What I say, submit that. Go ahead and scan the QR code so that way you can get your appointment, okay? We're going to talk about the things that you are dealing with. Questions, mindset, diet, training, whatever. That is how you get it. Now make sure you guys smash that like button right now and subscribe if you are not on this channel as a subscriber. Let me go ahead and look at these chats here. All right, we got a super chat in from Catholic Cowgirl, and she asked, what is the best protein, chicken, beef, or pork? Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Catholic Cowgirl. Okay, let me go ahead and get this for you. Great question. Here's the thing. I'm gonna surprise y'all because I love surprising folks when I talk about stuff like that. There is no best. Ooh, there is no best. Ain't no best. The best is what you will eat. The best is what you like. Now, having said that, there are different portions and cuts of meat. Okay, some portions of meat are leaner than others. I'm a steak girl. Okay, I'm a red-blooded American steak and potato girl. Okay, give me some steak. Steak is my favorite food. Okay, but there's different cuts of steak. Okay, I mean there's steak and then there's steak. Okay, and steak is that real juicy, like the wagyu and the what else, like a ribeye, nice and marbleized. Like I would love to be able to eat a marbleized steak every day of my life. It's nothing tastes more yummy than beef fat. Okay, let's be honest here, right? But your girl is trying to get her waistline together, and I'm trying to live long. As long as God will allow me, at least. that means I got to eat the top sirloin or the 96% lean beef. Okay. So it's making choices like that. I love a good pork chop. I absolutely love it. In fact, we have a pork chop recipe for our clients in our coaching app. So some folks have pork chop, but they ain't eating pork chop every day. Okay. We're choosing the leaner cuts of meat. And the same thing with chicken. I mean, you could have light meat, or you can have dark meat. Everything has a caloric amount in it. So you want to think about it. For those of you who have concerns of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you don't need to be eating a bunch of red meat. You probably, yes, because you have health concerns, want to go for leaner choices, white fish, white cuts of chicken, like the breast and stuff like that. So yes, you need to be more cognizant, but for other people, you can have a little fun. Okay. And that's the thing at the end of the day. I mean, I do firmly believe that all things can be had, but they have to be had in moderation. Okay. They have to be had in a way that's going to allow you to enjoy things, but also make healthy choices as well. Okay. So that's a great question. Thank you so much, Catholic Cowgirl. Let me see if there are any other questions that we had here in the chat. Yeah, we do. Let's see. Li or Lee or Lai, I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. What are some easy, healthy snack ideas to replace Oreos and chips? Wow, listen, let me tell you, them Oreos and them chips be good, right? And I mean, what could really replace processed sugar and processed salty food? Like, really, nothing that's like quote unquote that great if you really are having that craving. But I will say this: what I like to tell clients when they're craving that sweetness, this is where I really like to utilize protein shakes, because I do include protein shakes throughout the day. Think about this. My clients are doing a lot of resistance training. They're doing a lot of weight training. Some of them are doing varying amounts of cardio or varying amounts of outdoor activities. So we're always looking at how can we structure the diet in a way to kill cravings, all while keeping things on track. So one of the tricks that I have for clients, especially who like crave chocolate, I'm like, let's go ahead and make a nice super chocolatey shake. Let's get a good quality whey protein, right? Get some almond milk, put a couple of scoops of that chocolate flavored protein in there, get you some cocoa powder, put some cocoa powder in there, okay? And put a little bit of like any other extra, sometimes we add a little peanut butter or whatever it is for their diet, depending on what they need. And that oftentimes is enough to kill that buzz and craving. So if it's the chocolatey sweetness or something like that that you may be craving with those Oreos, go ahead and get your protein shake. Maybe you need a cookies and cream, protein shake or something like that. But it'll fit into your macros quite well. Now, I'm not saying to make every meal a protein shake, okay? Add it in with the whole meals and stuff like that that you have throughout the day. Now, with the whole thing with chips, I mean, here's the thing. You can have chips in moderation. Now, what I would do if I were you, instead of looking at the full fat varieties, look at the baked ones. They have baked chips and stuff like that. Now, they're not always as great, but that's something that you can have if you're having a craving every once in a while, to have one serving and learn how to stop at one serving. Buy the little small packages and have one once a week or so, or once or twice a week, just as a little treat for yourself. Factor it into your macros. And if you are actually staying on plan, you have a meal plan, you have a training program, and you're doing what you have to do. If you actually do that, then these little treats won't kill you. I call it in our coaching practice, I call it the RoxStar 80/20. The RoxStar 80/20. Meaning that 80%, and sometimes I call it the 90/10. So sometimes I call it the 90/10 for our contest prep girls. But basically, it means that if you're staying on your diet 80 to 90% of the time, the 20% or the 10% of the little small treats, the cheat meal that you might have, that's a planned cheat meal, the little snacks, I always like to tell clients, have a cheat meal and have a small snack to kill a craving. Have the bag of chips, but go back on plan. Stay with your workouts. That is what helps clients to not only stick to their diets, but also helps them to have the progress they want and to keep the progress in the long term. Remember, whatever you do in the face of fat loss is what you have to do to keep it off. So you want to form habits, patterns, behaviors, and mindsets that will not only get you the result, but get you to keep it. I hope that answered your question. We have another question in from David. So, how do you know there is the Murph workout during Memorial Day? Are there certain workouts for days for saints? Oh, okay. Um, oh, he says you know how there is the Murph workout for Memorial Day. Are there any workouts for saints? Okay, gotcha. That's a good question, David. You know what, David? No, I don't know any. But that doesn't mean that Roxy can't start making some. You just gave me an idea. Let me think about that. Let me think about that. The St. Patrick's or the St. Ignatius of Loyola workout. St. Ignatius was a soldier, honey. Okay, the St. Paul workout. Because Paul, you read the epistles of Paul, honey. That's all he was talking about was physical work, physical. Put on the armor of God. Listen, I got you, boo. Actually, just a shameless plug here. Those of you who are on my other channel, Theology of Fitness, it used to be called Blessed Be Fitness, but now we've rebranded. Got a whole bunch of content around that I'll be releasing. We do have some rosary runs on there, which are really great. And the rosary runs are put together in a way where they're a little bit more scriptural. So I'll bring in some verses of scripture, and then I'll tell you on the in between, like walk the Hail Mary, run the Hail Mary, or we're going to sprint this, if we're going to do that. So it's really great. And I've used them in the morning to go out on my runs and say my rosary at the same time. Sometimes you got to kill two birds with one stone. So go ahead to Theology of Fitness. You'll see it there. And right there, I think I have a playlist of rosary workouts, and we do have those for those of my online coaching clients who work with me. We have those as well. All right, great questions, guys. So let's go ahead and get back into our class over here. All right, I hope you guys are really just getting something out of this, and that you just have some stuff, that you can put into action right away. So what I want to talk about now is we talked about just like building out how to do your proteins, how to do this and all this stuff. Now, I want to just tell you some of the things that you might need to buy and keep on hand in order for you to really just do this successfully. You might have to go into your kitchen, take a little inventory, see the stuff that you got, and maybe get some more tools that'll help you out. So, we want to make sure that you start building out your own prep kit. Okay, so again, we are shifting our mindsets on how we approach cooking. We got to cook like a restaurant. We got to have the tools. So make sure that you invest in really good quality containers. All right, get a good digital food scale. Now, I thought I found a good one, and like an idiot, I washed it. I wiped it off, and then some water got in it, and now it doesn't work. So do your research. I'm still looking for a good one, okay? Because my thing is broken now. I can't measure my food. So make sure you get a good food scale that that you actually invest some good money in, because you need not a cheapo one, okay? Mason jars. Mason jars have been phenomenal. You guys are going to think I'm a little weird right now, but I have this obsession with microplastics. All of a sudden, listen, a couple of years ago, I heard about microplastics, and I thought it was this crazy QAnon thing, crazy people, and all this and all that. And now more research is coming out about microplastics being in our food supply, in our waters, and they're finding it in the body, in our bodies, and all that other stuff. And one of the things I'm going to do a video in a few weeks, or maybe next week, actually, because it's really relevant. But there's been an increase in cancer among Generation X and millennials. So we're talking about people in their 30s, people in their 40s, and people who are in their 50s. But particularly the cohort that's the most concerning are those who are in their 30s and 40s. And the number of the cancer diagnoses are on the rise. And we're seeing the cancers happening in the digestive tract. We're seeing more throat cancers. We're seeing more ovarian and breast cancers with women. So there's something that's really going on in our food supply and these microplastics and all that some of you might want to consider. Now, I got a gang of plastic containers in there. Okay, it's going to take me a while to be able to switch everything out. But at the very least, I do try to use these mason jars, and they're 99 cents at the dollar store or whatever, and they're really great for food storage. So I just wanted to put that out there because it's on my heart, and it's something I think we need to be more aware of. Get yourself a good knife. Good knives are really important. They're really, when you get yourself a good knife, or at least invest in a knife sharpener, These things help with food prep. It actually does make chopping things much quicker and much easier. So get yourself some good knives and stuff like that. Having the right tools makes meal prep easier, faster, and it's also more enjoyable. Again, we want to invest in this thing that I want you to actually see again as a system that you're building for yourself for success in your meal planning. Now, here's a big tip. Block off prep time each and every week when it comes to your meal plans. Do not think you're going to be able to just willy-nilly this and do this whenever you need to cook. No. Just like restaurants have a designated prep hour and prep time, set time each week. That's non-negotiable. Set it on your schedule. Make it like a doctor's appointment. And during that time, you're going to do your grocery shopping, you're going to clean, chop, and cook all and portion out all the foods that you have. All right. It's this kind of habit that's going to set you up for success. So your meal planning block has to be a schedule. I typically like to do 2 days during the week. So typically, I like to do my food prep for Sunday. So I'll do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'll have that batch ready to go. That I cook on Sunday, and then by Wednesday or so, I'm cooking for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then Sunday is my day to be a little bit more lax with my diet. So I'll usually have the same breakfast of eggs and toast or something like that. And this is where I like to have more of my cheat meal. So I don't have to count. I can just relax on Sunday. And that's what I really encourage you guys to do as well. Pick a day where you're just going to have a lax day where you eat loosely on plan and you don't fret yourself. You can have a cheat meal and boom. Okay. So pick out your days and stick to it. The more you systemize, the more you make things like an appointment, your workouts, your meal prep, all of this stuff, the longer you'll be able to stick to it and the more you'll have success. So that's a really, really important thing that gets so overlooked by so many folks. Next thing I want to pay attention to in this process would be like, just how do you bring your family into this, right? Because some of y'all got, the responsibility of feeding other people. It ain't just you up in this mix. Well, here's what I'm going to say. When you're looking at recipe-based programming, because that's is what the root of this is all about, whether you're using our program through our client coaching apps, or if you're using something like MyFitnessPal or whatever, look at the serving size. And if it says one serving size, if you got to cook for 2 people, double it up. If you got to cook for 3 or 4 people, do that, So make sure you're paying attention to the serving of your specific recipe and just increase it in order to feed the other people that you may have to take care of. The more you can get everybody on the same page, eating the same kinds of foods, especially with this approach, because now you're choosing foods that people actually would eat and not like your sawdust looking and tasting dried chicken and your raw vegetables. Yeah, when you're on that kind of diet, nobody wants to eat that. But when you cook that up as something that's substantial, everybody wants to have it. So it kind of makes it a little bit easier. Again, we talked about batch cooking meals for multiple days, which makes it like, the grab and go effect. Add the variety. Don't be afraid to swap things out of your plan. In fact, I'm going to show you a cool tool that I had created using AI to help us to swap things out. And you can actually do a similar thing too with some of the AI tools that are out there. For those of you who are working on your own, I'll show you that in a minute. So make your approach to meal prep and planning as a part of the family. Get everybody on the same page if you are responsible for other people when it comes to cooking and just, stewarding your family, doing things that are right. Now, I love these features in these meal planning apps, which is the ability to create shopping lists. And I think that whether you're following a recipe-based plan or not, making sure you organize how and what you need. Take inventory in your kitchen. Again, you're thinking like a restaurant. See what you have, see what staples you need, and plan everything out. Know what you're going to eat from day to day so that way you're not overbuying food. Adjust recipes. Now this is specific to these apps. These apps will often have like a shopping cart, and I'll go ahead and show you the shopping list that we have here. So this is an example of what that looks like. So you would take the recipe, this is on many of the apps, and you can go ahead and create shopping lists with them. And then what I do is I'll go off and I'll check off the things that I already have. And things that I don't have is what I'll look at as far as like what each recipe needs, how many times a week I'm going to be making it. And these, because this is all electronic, it factors it in. So it'll tell me if I need to make, let's say, 4 servings of a chicken recipe for the week, let's say for a chicken salad, it'll tell me exactly how much chicken to buy so I don't overbuy. Or it'll tell me exactly how much I need for any fruits or vegetables and stuff like that. I started to read and look at my packages when I'm picking up, and I showed that to you earlier with the tilapia. I don't just buy stuff willy nilly and just, not think about, am I going to be wasting some of this food? Is it too much? So start paying attention to that. And this is why the whole thing behind electronic tracking is amazing, guys. This is 2025. Use the tools that's available, whether you're working with me as a client or you're working on your own with some of these apps. Use them to your advantage. Now, I talked about the mason jars and what that would look like with storage. Here's an example of a mason jar setup. So you got the fresh, all kinds of like the green and red peppers, tomatoes stored. We've got carrots there. We've got lettuce and stuff like that. This has been a game changer for me when it comes to how I food prep. Again, no waste, everything is easy. Here's another example that I actually found, which is similar to something that I like to do with salads. If you take a look at the top row there, you can go ahead and get a larger mason jar and put all of your salad ingredients in there and get small like condiment cups where you can add your oil, your vinegar, your salad dressings. You store those in little stacks right on the side of your fridge. So again, in the morning time, if you're having salad for lunch, you grab and go. If you have your chicken already cooked on the side, boom, you grab that, boom, done. The easier you can make your life, the better when it comes to cooking and meal prep, guys. I'm telling you, game changer. Here's another example here of fresh frozen fruit. So if you overbought your foods, all you got to do, spread them out on a sheet, put them out to freeze individually, and boom, now you have this that'll last you, and you can grab and go whatever you need. Let it thaw out overnight. It's great for smoothies, putting them in oatmeal and more. And if that's too busy for you, baby, go get you some already pre-packaged. They already got it out there for you, frozen fruits, ready to go. Convenience is the name of the game when you're doing all this stuff. And the more you can make it easily accessible, convenient, ready, grab and go, less food prep, the better, because I know how some of y'all think you don't have the time and you don't want to take the time. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I really feel like as a fitness professional, it's my job to make it easier for my clients and help them to see a better way of doing things. Now, the other thing that I really love to stress in the recipe approach, as you collect recipes or if you're working one of these apps, is to not be afraid to swap things out, to add variety. Because at the end of the day, you want to create a method and way of cooking that makes you enjoy food, that makes you want to explore different flavors. Food is your greatest ally, it is not your worst enemy. And the more that you can see that you can have variety, but it comes down to portion control, the better you'll be able to enjoy this process and stay on it for longer. This also allows you to get into prepping for travel, vacations. I have a client right now who's in Europe. She's all around right now. She's got her workout, she's still doing her thing. But the way that we approach meal planning, the way that we approach dieting allows her the ability to be able to pick a good like dinner or breakfast or whatever that mirrors what she would normally have out here in the States, you know? So these ways of eating, this recipe approach, guys, it's not just, it's not a fantasy. It's not like something that's unrealistic. It actually mirrors what you do on a daily basis and teaches you skills on how to think critically, to look at portions, to be able to enjoy what you want and to live in the real world and see results. You see, let me tell you something. This is the kind of stuff that the diet industry does not tell you. This is the kind of stuff that people do, I don't know why. I know why. Fitness and dieting is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and the more you don't understand it, the more you're stuck, and the more money you're going to spend out there trying to find the solution. And the more that people start to fall into these gimmicks and these this and that, it's a cycle. And I've always been the type of person who wants to pour into people the knowledge they need to be able to be successful. So that's what I hope that you're getting out of this class today. This is extensive. You're not going to find very many classes like this online where someone's sitting here and talking to you for a full hour on how to do things in a way that's going to mirror real life so you can be successful, so you can lose that weight, so that way you can get the results and keep it off for good. Okay. Keep those questions rolling in because we're going to go ahead and hit them up in a moment as soon as I get here and wrap up. And the next thing I want to go ahead and just show you again, these recipe examples, MyFitnessPal on the right, very similar to what we do on the left there with our clients. So I'm talking from a place of sincerity. I'm talking from a place where again, that I've seen this in action and I'm doing it. And then the last thing that I want to tell you is the introduction of AI and how this fits wonderfully in the diet. Now, I created our own AI that I use with our clients in our coaching app. I'm a big proponent for AI and just seeing how it can help us to do things better and more efficiently and smarter. So we have Coach Roxy AI, and there are other tools that are like this. But for instance, I can go into our Coach Roxy AI and ask for a swap out. So let's say this is how cool this is. Now, let me tell you how I created my AI. I went ahead and I fed it all of my knowledge. So I fed it every PDF I've written, every ebook. I fed it transcripts, hundreds of hours of transcripts from podcasts and videos and more. And then I sat and I tweaked it by speaking to it and correcting it. So it literally comes out spinning with my knowledge. But I want to show you something so cool. So like, especially if you follow like a basic meal plan, you know how you get a meal plan and it might say, 4 ounces of chicken, and you might want that day, like maybe you want some salmon, right? Maybe you want some halibut, maybe you want something else. And it's hard to figure out like how you swap this out. So this is what I have for our clients here. You can talk to it, but I'm not going to talk to it right now because it's a little bit complicated. So I'm going to ask it. Let's ask Coach Roxy. I can't spell. There we go. Let's say 6 ounces. I have 6 ounces of chicken breasts. I cannot see. Let me put my glasses on. Girl can't see. I'm getting old, child. Okay, I'm getting old. Got to go ahead. There we go. I have 6 ounces of chicken breast on my plan, and I want to swap it out for, what do you want to swap it out for? Let's swap it out for, what's good? Let's say turkey breast. Let's say, no, that's too similar. Let's say salmon. Okay, I got 6 ounces of chicken breast on my plan. I want to swap it out for some salmon. All right, let's do that. Now watch this. Watch how cool technology is, okay? So it's going to tell us, all right, my rock star. It talks like me. All right, my rock star, before we can make the swap properly, I need to clarify a key detail. Now, this is what I've instructed my app to do. Is the chicken breast listed in your plan raw or cooked state? And she instructs, if it's cooked, I'll also need to know how it's cooked, grilled, baked, steamed, etc., because cooking methods affect the weight and macro content. Once I have that info, I can give you an accurate equivalent in salmon. So very good. I trained my AI to do that. Now, depending on the tool that you might use or find, she may not say that, okay? If you get on my email list, now I'm going to go ahead and put up the QR code for you to get on my email list. If you get on my email list, I'll go ahead and I'll send this to you to use as well, okay? So I'll put that up in a moment so you can get up on the email list and check that out. So we're going to say that it's raw, it's uncooked, raw chicken, okay? All right, let's boom. There we go. Let's see what she says. Perfect. Thank you. So your plan calls for 6 ounces of raw chicken breast. Here's the swap. 6 ounces of raw chicken breast, roughly 170 grams, provides about 38 to 40 grams of protein, 4 grams of fat, and 187 calories. So it tells you like the breakdown of the nutrition, which is good because that gives you an idea to start thinking in terms of macros. And if you're someone who's tracking macros, This is information you got to know. And it helps you guys to think when you're trying to hit your numbers throughout the day that you have the science and the tools you need to get there. To match this with salmon, which is higher in fat and lower in protein per ounce, you'll want to adjust the quantity. So to swap that out, raw Atlantic farm salmon is per 100 grams or 3.5 ounces gives 20 grams of protein, 13 grams of fat, and 206 grams of 206 calories. So the best swap, it's saying, is about 4.5 ounces of of salmon to get roughly about the same macros as the chicken. Okay. And it gives a whole like breakdown of how, the fat is a little, protein is a little higher and why, and this, that, and the third. So it's fantastic. We used to have a food substitution calculator on our website that I had to manually enter stuff and do all these things to get it to do what this I coached it to do within minutes. And there are other AI programs and stuff like that I'm sure you can use that are similar. If you want to have access to my Coach Roxy AI, this is exclusively available to our clients. However, I'll go ahead and throw in the link for those of you who are on my email list to go ahead and check it out. Scan the QR code that you see on your screen or click the link down below. We'll put it down there for you guys in a bit to check that out. But I want to actually encourage you guys, which is crazy. Let me keep that up there for you to see, which is crazy. That's crazy, right? I'm a coach, I'm a trainer. AI is coming. AI is taking over the world. You're seeing all these things about like AI, replacing jobs and this, that, the third. And I'm encouraging you, hey, look, this technology is actually pretty great. And the way that we use it in my coaching practice is the Coach Roxy AI that I just showed you. Not only does food substitutions, but it also can give advice about fitness, about training, again, because it's trained on my intelligence. So it's gonna pull from the things that I want it to. But it allows me to be available 24 hours a day to answer questions for clients when I'm asleep. I have clients in all parts of the world, right? And then it instructs them to go ahead and make sure that they contact their coach, to contact me in order to continue the conversation. So it sets them up for learning along the way and being able to ask questions and then bounce it back off of me with some more deeper thoughts about what they may have in their heads and in their hearts, so we can get them results. So I love that. And if you have access to something like that, make sure that you use it. But to get access to ours here, go ahead and make sure that you check that out. Go ahead and get yourself on the email list. And also, I'll put this up. I'm going to check out the questions. We're going to wrap things up with a Q&A in a moment. But I'm going to put this up, and for those of you who are interested in working with me, scan the QR code that you see on your screen. I'm taking on new clients right now. And if anything that I've said sounds like it's something that speaks to you, you need a diet, you need your stuff together, let's go ahead and talk. All right. So let's take a look. We have David, or Li asked another really great question. Thanks. I'm 28. And I know my skin needs some collagen. Do you recommend taking the powdered collagen stuff, or should I just wait and trust the process with just working out? I'm 35 pounds overweight. You're still young enough where your skin is producing a good amount of collagen. So if you wanted to take some extra supplements, I never say that it's necessarily a bad thing. Collagen has been found to have in studies to have some positive effects on the human body. So why not? I also think I'm not big on taking too many extraneous supplements. I really feel that you should be getting your nutrition from your foods, and everything that you need, you should be getting from your foods first and foremost. So first, make sure that you're eating adequate protein. You can throw a BCAA powder in there as well. But if you feel like on top of that, you can use it, you want to try some extra collagen, it doesn't hurt. But the diet needs to be the foundation first and foremost. Now, if you have 35 pounds to lose and you're overweight, and understandable, I think, for anyone who has a lot of weight to lose, loose skin is always the question and the concern, right? If you lose it gradually, the skin will have a chance to, as long as it's, let me preface this. I'll first say, as long as you lose it gradually, the skin will often, come down and tighten as you lose weight. There may be some loose skin, though. There may be some excess skin if you're someone who's been overweight for a very long time. So that's something to consider. And given your age, your skin has a lot more elasticity than someone who, let's say, is in middle age. So I think that if you think about taking things from the gradual approach, you should be fine. And extraneous supplements aren't really necessary. Lee asks, what, or Li? I don't know how to say your name, so I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. What are some must haves in your pantry and refrigerator? Water. Okay, if you go into my fridge right now, you open it up, you see the top shelf, there's nothing but bottles of water, okay, like glass bottles of water, because water is one thing that is super important when you're working out, super important for all of us and all of our diets. And a lot of people are not getting in enough water. Even the clients that I'm struggling and get to drink more on a daily basis. So water is in there. What else did you say in my pantry? A must have besides water. I gotta have spices. I mean, you go into my pantry, I have every kind of spice under the sun, okay? And I'm really into cooking Asian dishes more. I just love Asian food. Like, and I'm talking about across the gamut. Yesterday, I actually had my cheat meal a little earlier in the week because I cooked a whole feast for my friends and myself, a Thai spread. Like, I made this incredible lunch for us. And so it was funny because there were all of these exotic kind of like seasonings, and I had every single one of them in my pantry. So I love spices and stuff like that because you can always make whatever you want taste amazing with herbs, spices, and without having to go crazy with marinades and all this other stuff. Dry rubs are perfect. And I really encourage clients to season up their food to taste the way that they want it to. So that's one thing I can't live without: water and spices, honey. Okay. Water and spices. That's my New York right there. Water and spices. All right, let's see if we have any other questions in here. These are really great questions, you guys. I don't see anything else floating in the chat box, so we're going to go ahead. We've been running for a little over an hour. And I want to thank you again so much. I want to thank you guys so much for just taking the time out to come on in and to talk to me. Listen, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't be afraid to come into the comments and talk to me. This is the next video right here. Where is it? It's right over here. Can you see it? Okay, this one. I want you to go watch this video right over here, okay? Because in this video, I'm breaking down how to handle and tackle hunger in this game. And again, the whole thing, drilling in the idea of food variety. And I talk about this workshop in here, in that video too, so you'll see me mention that. But guys, this has been a wonderful time. We're going to be doing these live shows every single week. We'll have a new topic, or maybe every other week. We'll see. I can't make any promises on frequency, but definitely make sure that you subscribe, set your notifications, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining.